This video reviews Big Ideas, Lesson 6.2. The essential question is, how can you order numbers that are written as fractions, decimals, and percents? When you're comparing and ordering fractions, decimals, and percents, you want to write all the numbers as either fractions, decimals, or percents. So you can see here's an example of, we have 6 numbers: 18%, 95 hundredths, 1/4, 22 and 7/10%, 6/5, and then 4/10. All of them have been changed into decimal version so that they can be compared and then ordered down here. When you are ordering your decimals, make sure that you write them in their original format. So even though we looked at 1/4 as 25 hundredths to get it in the correct spot, when we rewrite the order, we put it back in its original format. All right, posted in Canvas is this fraction to decimal to percent chart. These are just some of the common ones that you may want to consider memorizing. If you want this in your notebook, you could print it and glue it in as well. All right, which question had the greatest number of students answer yes? So usually I'm going to change all of mine into decimals. That seems to be the easiest way to do the comparing for me. So I have 19/28 to change this into a decimal. I can use my calculator to do 19 divided by 28. Those are sort of odd numbers, and so I wouldn't do this probably in my brain. And when I put this in my calculator, I end up with this 0 and 6, 7, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 3 kind of long decimal. 20%, I know that I can just change that easily by dividing by 100 or moving that decimal point 2 to the left. So that ends up to be 20 hundredths, and then of course this is already in the decimal version. You can easily see that this, do you have any siblings, had the greatest number of students answer yes. Order the following from least to greatest. So first, again, I'm going to convert them all into decimals. So 40% is going to turn into 4/10, or you could think of it as 40 hundredths. I already have my second number, 38 hundredths, as a decimal. I'm just going to write that. I like to write mine stacked up with the decimal points lined up for when I get to the comparing, so that's a strategy you may want to use. And next one is already a decimal, and then 1/8 equals the decimal 125 thousandths. Okay, so now I've been asked to put them in order from least to greatest. Sometimes I like to number mine least to greatest so that when I rewrite them, I can rewrite them in their original format. So I can see this would be the least. Next one would be this one. Then we have this, 4, 5, and the greatest is that 68%. So when I rewrite them, here they are back in their original format. Right, so here's just another example. So this map shows portions of the U.S. population that live in 5 states. List the 5 states in order from population from least to greatest. The work has already been done for you, so you can see each of these states is listed with their fraction, decimal, and percent. To compare them, I think I'll just look at this percent column, and then I'm going to write them in order by population from least to greatest. So I think I'll just number them over here. So I would have, the least would be Washington, then Michigan, then Ohio, then New York, and finally California. Order the animals by sleep time from least to greatest. Okay, so this time we have to do the work to change these into, again, I'm going to change them all into decimals. So dolphin is already in decimal format. To change the lion, I'm going to divide by 100, which means I'm just moving that decimal point 2 spaces to the left. 19 divided by 40, do that on my calculator, and I get 475 thousandths. Squirrel, this might be an easy one you could do in your brain, because if I doubled both the numerator and the denominator, I can see it would be 62 hundredths. And then our percent, again, just dividing by 100 or moving that decimal point 2 to the left. So now I have mine ready to order from least to greatest. I would go dolphin, rabbit, tiger. All right, here's some problems that you're going to see today on your HMH assignment. Similar problems to what this is. So tell which number is greater. Again, you might want to think about putting these both in the same format. So I could think of this going into the decimal 20 hundredths, or I could put this into the percent format. Either way, I should be able to see that 20% is greater. Okay, again, I could put my percent as a decimal, or if I wanted to change my decimal into a percent, whatever's easiest for your brain to compare. So 86% is greater. Use a number line to order the numbers from least to greatest. Okay, again, so I want to get them all in the same format. So I have the number 10.5%. My number line is in decimals, so I'm going to go to decimals for all of these. So 10.5% would be 0 and 105 thousandths. 3/20ths is 15 hundredths, and then we already have this one in decimal form. It's 15 thousandths. So now I can order these on my number line. So I'm going to pick this one. That's probably the easiest one to put up there. So 3/20ths goes there. Then I have, looking at these two numbers that I have left, I can see that 10.5% is just a little bit bigger. It would go just beyond my 10 hundredths. And then this is just beyond basically 1 hundredth. So that would fit right there. All right, we're going to change these all into decimals in order to order them. So 2/9, when you do that on your calculator, you get 0 and 2/10 repeating, so 2 going on and on. 21%, 0 and 21 hundredths. Then we have 0 and 21 hundredths, but the 1 is repeating. And then finally 11/50ths. You can probably do this in your brain by doubling to get 22 hundredths. All right, when I now order from least to greatest, my least is going to be that 21%. Okay? Because if you imagine these other ones with the repeating, this would have 2, 2, 2, and it would keep going. With the repeating, it would have 1, 1, 1, and keep going, where that one just stops at 21. All right, the next one would be our 0 and 21 hundredths with that repeating. Then we would have 11/50ths, our 22 hundredths. And then finally, the largest one is 2/9. All right, tell which letter shows the graph of the numbers. So we have the number 45 and 2/10%. My number line has decimal numbers, so I'm going to change this into a decimal by dividing by 100, or really I'm just moving that decimal point when I divide by 100. So I have 452 thousandths, so D would be that. All right, your job today is to do Big Ideas Assignment Lesson 6.2. And then today would be a good opportunity to grow your brain. Explore one of these games, these links that are posted in the Explore More area of the Chapter 6 module. Have a great day.